Nothing's ever as easy as it may seem when it comes to getting a unified EU proposal past all 27 member states. On Monday, the European Commission put forward their proposals for what essentially amounts to a EU vaccine passport. They'll be discussing that further on Tuesday, but it's an attempt to open up the 27 member states to non-essential travel and to tourism. Tourism, of course, the absolute lifeblood of many of the southern European countries' economies. What the EU Commission are suggesting is that anybody who's been fully vaccinated with a jab that's approved by both the European Medicines Agency and the World Health Organization, they should be allowed to come into the EU.
Until the digital green certificate is operational, member states should be able to accept certificates from non-EU countries based on national law, taking into account the ability to verify the authenticity, validity and integrity of the certificate and whether it contains all relevant data.
Well, since it was announced, it's raised an awful lot of questions, with some critics pointing out some of the points are pretty vague, particularly when it comes to the fact that we don't know how long somebody who's been vaccinated is immune to the COVID virus for. We just simply haven't got the data on that right now. There's also the risks of creating a two-tier society between those that have had the vaccine, those that are waiting for the vaccine, and those that for any number of medical reasons can't have those particular vaccines. Now, there's also the World Health Organization chipping in on this, saying they don't think these type of passports are a good idea because as far as the WHO are concerned, it gives a false sense of security.
At the present time, it is the World Health Organization's position that national authorities should not introduce requirements of proof of COVID-19 vaccination for international travel as a condition for departure or entry. Considering that there is limited availability of vaccines, preferential vaccination of travellers could result in inadequate supplies of vaccines for priority populations considered at high risk of severe COVID-19 disease.
Well, earlier this year, the idea of vaccine passports didn't prove all that popular with people in France and Denmark. We saw protests against the plans then. There's also questions over what this will mean for those who've been vaccinated with jabs that haven't already been approved by the European Medicines Agency. The Russian Sputnik vaccine, for example, we are expecting Sputnik to get EMA approval sometime in May, but what does that mean for those that have already received that? Also, what does that mean for the millions and millions of doses of Sputnik that are being purchased by EU member states ready for use? Now, the European Commission doesn't have the power to be able to tell a member state who can come in and who can't come in to their country. What they're looking to try and do at the moment is get a unified agreement throughout the 27, and there certainly isn't one of those just yet. So until there is, it does seem like each individual EU member state will continue to have their own systems in place. For example, right now, if you wanted to fly into Greece, it wouldn't have to be fully vaccinated, but as long as you could provide, say, a test result that showed that you hadn't tested positive for COVID, then you'd be allowed to arrive. Still a lot of legs to run on whether we'll get a unified COVID passport across Europe just yet, though.